Hello, I hope all is progressing well. Welcome to I Don't Know, We Can Talk About It, where we discuss myriads of topics civilly, reasonably, and responsibly. My name is Kevin Dufresne. Our first topic is about kindergarten and age requirements. The idea that one is to be a particular age to enroll for educational purposes is important to acknowledge because of how, when assessing learning criteria, there are age factors that are put into consideration, with research having age ranges, particularly for early childhood, to note at what age does an individual ideally, in correspondence with other research of age, begin to understand a particular concept, begin to grasp or be able to fully complete a particular responsibility. At what age are individuals able to engage to a particular degree? Having details of the sort align with how research might share what is reasonable for individuals to engage with in systems. The informing assistive programming. Now, age is a parameter. The parameters of age in regard to early childhood is in part a system as a guide to assist a different system. Though age need not be a determiner of its own for an individual's capabilities. One may be well capable to thrive through academic parameters regardless of age. Having individuals that finish college, university as teenagers is not new. Though one may argue, not common. Which does not address the potentials of others. If individuals are truly capable of exceeding what parameters are set seemingly as standards to guide individuals through a guiding system, then being able to acknowledge how that might be possible and what that might look like in regard to what education connects to economically is extremely important. Now, kindergarten, pre-K, first grade, any point in early childhood education is going to be meaning differently to individuals engaging with these parameters. So, addressing the early childhood approaches really connects with how one might address education in general, particularly how one is going to enroll, how one is programming. One must be addressing timelines of systems because a life may operate, as the article shows, beyond systems. What systems operate with need to be aware of individuals that might be in need of different resourcing, that might be in need of different routes of information. And individuals seeking to engage with an educational environment, an educational parameter, need to find ways to be well aware of what is going on with a particular system. So one may address timelines more appropriately. When one is able to address timelines more appropriately, one may be able to address the information in connection with the timelines more appropriately. Again, systems operate through programming that works with time frames. So individuals operating through life frames need to really address the differences. The life framing is awesome and needs to understand how both frames may operate together. So ideally, being aware of schooling, educational parameters 6 months ahead allows for great spacing to address what might need addressing, even if new opportunity might arrive. One may be able to engage with how to address the programming, the system timelines. Our next topic when assessing testing, one may wonder, what is testing for? What might an assessment mean for an individual that shows up every single day, that completes all assignments, receives extra help even, though may be bringing in grades that are around B's, high C's, low A's, infrequently though of the range, and is a decent test taker, meaning the individual may sit with the test, observe the exam, though may not apply the information to the exam as well as the individual may apply the information in life. Which brings the attention to purposes of education. Education is to embolden individuals, educate individuals to be effective, efficient, extant education, existing outside of education. So when individuals wonder what might be possible with improving testing, one may wonder, what is testing benefiting long term for the individuals? If testing is not benefiting the individuals, then one may observe testing and wonder, is testing benefiting an educational environment? When looking between what learning resources are available, one may find educational environments vary. At times, to degrees that one may wonder what exactly an educational environment is offering because of what a different educational environment might be offering. Which is not to say that the clients, the students, the individuals that are within any of these educational environments are going to take to liking to any of them for any of the reasons that an educational environment might be offering. The article touches on technology and particularly cell phones. I want to address technology in the form of education. Education is a form of technology, and how education is put to use may be through myriad forms. So when addressing the purpose of education to ensure individuals will be efficient, effective in the world outside of education, though one may seek to work through education, I address why individuals need careful tending to engage with the interests that are personal, that an educational environment may offer, that may link to an employment foundation, that may link to an economic progression that allows one to find more purpose with educational endeavors. One may argue for a child to do homework, study, though without clearly aligning purpose, the child might not be receiving the full respect of a full human being. Then parameters beyond education become main stage factors. Main stage factors always consider the whole individual, and if the main stage factors now under the bright lights are not receiving proper attention, these main stage factors now heighten. So the side stage factors, not dismissing education, but one may learn in many regards, these side stage factors, which seem to be main stage because of an approach that may be challenging the individual in a way that seems to be dismissive of the individual, the side stage factors do not hold relevance to the same degree without the clear understanding of the aligning. Then with clear alignment, with clear understanding, with the purposes of the side stage factors, the staging shifts. Then education become more of main stage factors. Individuals may already enjoy learning. That's always a part of what may be of the main stage, though individuals engaging with learning in connection with an external entity that may not be in alignment with one's enjoyments of learning may prove different for one's learning experience. So, addressing the parameters of one's whole being purposefully with what one is seeking to do, is in a position to do, to grow with, especially if one is having to engage with a particular parameter because of a law that might be saying that a student has to be of a particular age, not at home doing anything that does not have to do with education. So a parent, a guardian, brings that individual to align with being a student. Now the individual might feel out of place, out of space, especially if not of the individual's choice. With these considerations, one must understand how an educational environment, even as the article is attempting to bring about what the educational environment is to bring, not completely separate from what the student is bringing, though along the lines of doing so, the educational environment has to bring with attention to the purposes of education to align well with the students, so the intentions may prove more effortful, may prove more fruitful from the effortfulness. When addressing testing as a factor, one must consider what else may be a relevant factor to address how students are performing that may reflect school, the educational environment's performance. So if an educational environment is winning in many sports and all of the student athletes together have a B average and are never absent, the data is supportive and reflects well. If an educational environment has a chess club and individuals are never absent, B average, then the reflection may prove apparent to a degree. The well-rounding understanding of research really needs to connect with what is external to an educational environment as well. Though, how might any educational environment be able to assess the proper parameters to determine whether an educational environment is contributing effectively? Whether an educational environment is contributing effectively might depend on many factors. One educational environment might have students that go to sleep earlier than another educational environment. So the individuals of the school that are going to sleep earlier are showing good grades, showing good progress in comparison to the school with the individuals that are going to sleep at a time that is just not suitable for growth, and the performance is reflecting when at school. A slight factor, though, one area that may bring more data which is relevant to what may be contributing to student success, which may result in an educational environment success. All right, it's time for some origami. This origami is going to require one square sheet. So fold the sheet in half, edge to edge. Then fold one corner up, as so. Then fold the other corner, as so. Next, we're going to take this corner, and we're going to meet this corner in the middle. So we're going to take this point here, right where X is. X marks the spot. And we're just going to press it down firmly. Next, we're going to fold in where we take that point from the X to meet the edge. Next, we're going to fold this corner up. So we'll have the side here. And we're next going to fold so the back portions meet. Notice where no folds are before, there is now one fold down the middle. Now, we're going to rip at this line. The lowest line here, where my finger is, we're going to rip that. If you don't have scissors, then you can rip it. If you do have scissors, then you can cut it. Now we're going to open up our fold, and we're going to fold inside. The folds only need to go to the point where the corners meet the fold, not beyond it. Okay. We have to do this for all of these. If you find that one area might have a little deeper fold, then just fold it as evenly as possible. If it starts to overlap, then just bring it back a little bit. Great. So now we're here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to turn this over and we're going to fold in the same pattern, this time on the other side. Try to fold these as accurately as possible without over folding. When I say over folding, meaning not over folding the corners. Okie dokie. Now that we're here, we're gonna have to fold in only where we have the other coloring. So once you see this portion, you're just gonna fold it in as so, like pinching it. All right, this is very, very important. You're just gonna pinch it. Don't try to pinch the entire piece. You can just let that kind of have the pop fold. And so then what happens next is we're going to take that inside piece, we're going to bend it. Okay, then I bend it to the right and I'm going to tuck it underneath the flap, the left flap. And I'm going to do the same thing to every single one of these. Again, you just want to get the piece in. Do not worry if it starts to bend all the way toward the center. Just get that flap, fold it to the right, fold it over. Next one. Pinching the middle, pinching the middle, pressing it down, and it starts to get real tight here because all of them are coming together. The paper is folding in and it's giving us that shape that we want for our origami bowl. So we're here, I take it to the left after I fold it to the right. And the shape is going to start to fall into more of a bowl shape. doking. And the last one here. Just gonna take it, bring it over to the right. Okay, then bring it under this flap to the left. And voila. You have now an origami bowl. So you can put things inside of it. It's decorative, as you can see, the interior, somewhat like a star. You can wear it as a hat if you like. All right. I champion reading physical books. When an individual reads a physical book, the brain physically changes. Long-term health benefits from reading a physical book. This science falls in connection with spatial development. The text for discussion today is Karenina. Wow. What a wonderful text. The story is so gripping. How families form purposes within societies. We're not just talking about high society either. We have wonderful comparisons, having the reality of what economy means differently between individuals. How society of the time, the period, reflects engagement and how individuals communicate. And the writing is so wonderfully gripping. The text does revolve around Anna. Yet, the focal point is of the structuring of being. Why any of the individuals choose to be with regard to the status quo, what seems to be the standard of society. The text is so intricate, detailing parameters of the human psyche in regard to mediums of which humans may engage with to further embrace society, though regards how any individual may embrace life personally beyond society, how there are so many separations, which is engaging with truths of being. The text may prove to be extremely graphic for individuals to read in particular instances. How the text gravitates about purpose and living is unique, and I find the text does a wonderful job of challenging by guiding what may be a high point for one to address regarding life and purpose personally. guiding through these different characters to bring about different understandings. I find the text very interesting to read because of how the text engages with the parameters of the human psyche, as well as the social psyche. Though a period, philosophically wonderful to appreciate. Thank you for joining I Don't Know. We Can Talk About It. Onward and Upward, Kevin.